When you pick up a package of ground beef at the grocery store, you likely assume you are buying fresh meat chopped directly from whole muscle cuts. However, federal labeling regulations permit processors to blend trimmings, lean finely textured beef, and scraps from dozens of different cattle into a single tub. Under USDA guidelines, unless a label explicitly states a specific cut like ground chuck or sirloin, that brick of meat can contain trimmings from multiple domestic and international processing plants. This standard practice allows large distributors to maintain exact fat-to-lean ratios while blending lower-cost beef sources behind a uniform plastic seal. Before we dive deeper into what independent meat science evaluations reveal about retail ground beef, take a moment to drop a comment below. Where are you watching from in the United States? Tell me your state, whether you are tuning in from Texas, Ohio, Florida, California, Georgia, or New York. And how old are you? Drop your age in the comments as well because it helps us tailor these investigations for our audience. The USDA oversees the safety and labeling standards for all meat sold in American supermarkets, establishing clear rules for fat content. Federal law dictates that ground beef cannot exceed 30% fat by weight and strictly prohibits the addition of extra fat, water, or binders. However, the origin of that meat remains far more complex. The Federal Trade Commission regulates deceptive trade practices, yet current country of origin labeling laws allow imported beef that is repackaged in domestic plants to bear product of USA label. This regulatory framework means the meat in your cart might travel thousands of miles before reaching the shelf. Supermarket discount rolls and bulk chubs often represent the most cost-effective ground beef on the market. These tightly wrapped packages are processed in massive, centralized facilities using high-vacuum equipment to maximize shelf life. Because this meat is drawn from large-scale production runs, a single package can contain lean trimmings from hundreds of animals, combined with imported frozen lean beef. While completely safe and fully compliant with federal standards, this heavy processing disrupts the natural muscle structure, producing a uniform texture that releases significant moisture during cooking. Store-branded prepackaged foam trays represent the standard choice for millions of American families each week. These cuts are typically modified atmosphere packages filled with carbon dioxide and nitrogen to preserve a bright red color. Independent food safety testing routinely confirms that while these offerings meet legal requirements, the label claims can obscure essential details. A package marked 80% lean does not reflect the cut of beef used, but rather a calculated fat ratio achieved by mixing high-fat trimmings with low-fat trimmings from various sources. Behind the glass display cases, many supermarkets feature store ground beef prepared daily by full-time butchers. Consumers frequently pay a premium for these options, believing they are getting freshly slaughtered local beef. In reality, most supermarket butcher counters grind bulk primal cuts or pre-trimmed beef trimmings shipped in vacuum-sealed bags from central packing plants, unless the butcher explicitly grinds whole subprimal cuts like chuck rolls on site. The resulting ground beef shares the exact same multi-source origins as the pre-packaged trays next door. Warehouse club stores operate on a model of high volume, selling massive multi-pound chubs and coarse ground beef trays. These large formats undergo continuous quality testing for pathogens, making them some of the most rigorously screened meat products in the supply chain. Yet the commercial scale of warehouse operations requires blending beef from global suppliers to balance fat percentages across thousands of pounds. When you purchase a 3-pound block, you are receiving a consistent chemical ratio rather than single-source farm beef. Organic and grass-fed ground beef options carry premium price tags and prominently display USDA organic seals. To earn this certification, the animals must be fed a 100% organic feed and raised without synthetic hormones or antibiotics. Independent laboratory analyses confirm these products typically contain higher levels of omega-3 fatty acids compared to conventional grain-fed beef. However, buyers should read labels carefully, as grass-fed does not automatically mean grass-finished unless verified by an independent third-party seal. Understanding how to read Ground beef labels is your best defense against overpaying for standard trimmings. Look closely at the cut designation on the package rather than relying on color alone. Labels marked ground chuck naturally come from the shoulder cut and maintain an ideal 80-20 lean to fat ratio for burgers. Labels marked ground round or ground sirloin specify actual primal cuts that yield leaner meat, offering clearer traceability than generic packages labeled simply as ground beef. For consumers seeking minimal processing and complete sourcing transparency, single-source local gross-finished beef or local butcher shop cuts hold up best. When meat is ground directly from whole primal cuts from a named farm or local processor, the muscle structure remains intact and free from added gases or international trimmings. Visiting a local butcher who grinds whole chuck roasts right in front of you ensures you know precisely which cut is going into your meal. Which brand of ground beef is sitting in your refrigerator right now? Drop the name of the store or brand in the comments below. If you found this breakdown helpful for your next grocery trip, please share this video and leave a like to support our work. Our goal is never to create panic about everyday foods, but to give you the clear facts so you can make informed decisions for your household.